Welcome to another exciting edition of American Warrior Radio, the place to be for news, notes, interviews, and current events for all issues military and veteran related. If you or someone you know has ever worn the uniform of the U.S. Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, or National Guard or Reserves, you've come to the right place, American Warrior Radio, right here on the Talk to Me station, AM 1060 WMEL, and online worldwide at 1060WMEL.com, sponsored by AVET Project. Folks, this program is all about supporting our troops and their families, both past and present. So please get comfortable, grab a cup of coffee or some other beverage, and don't forget that pencil and paper to jot down a note or two, because we're always efforting to bring you important information that you can use and share with others. With that said, let's roll down the runway and get this show off the ground. You all know me, all you regular listeners to American Warrior Radio. I'm Garen Cohn. I'm an Air Force veteran, a retired legal advocate for veterans, and founder of AVET Project. But you also know that I never fly through the airwaves alone.
Good morning, I'm Glenn McGuffey. I'm retired Air Force, and I'm the retired manager of the Brevard County Veteran Services Team, where it was my honor to help our veterans and eligible family members obtain the VA benefits earned by our veteran service to our great nation. And I did that for a little over 22 years, and I've been retired for a little over 2 years, and I'm still doing it as a volunteer. And if you need some help with a claim or fix up a misunderstanding that you've heard, and there's a lot of bad information that you'll hear out there.
Big rumor mill, grapevine.
You can get a hold of me at Glenn, Glenn, that's 2 N's, at AVET Project, AVETPROJECT, all one word, .org. That's Glenn at avetproject.org, and from your email, that'll get the process started. Maybe I can answer you back by email or set an appointment up with you. And I work out of American Legion Post 200 in Satellite Beach, who graciously give me a desk and a place to work from to help you out. And they just bought me a new computer too, so thank you very much.
No kidding. Who's the commander? We got a new commander now.
Yeah, Bill Hall is the commander, and he is also the owner and manager of a funeral home in Cocoa Beach.
And also the adjutant, Lionel. We love you, appreciate everything that you guys do, and that they create this opportunity for you to serve veterans through the American Legion as well as AVET Project.
That's right. That kind of support is vital.
And I just want to say that we always harp on this, and it's so true. The VA is trying to push everybody, whether you're a widow trying to get DIC or an initial claimant or whatever, to do things electronically through the computer. What do we say about that, Glenn?
Well, we recommend you don't do that. You need to get a hold of an accredited representative and file it by mail with some way of proving receipt by the VA. That can be priority mail, or that can be certified return receipt mail. And under the new procedures VA follows, if they claim they never got your claim, and that happens, unfortunately, that is satisfactory proof that you submitted the claim and will protect your earlier start date.
And that's that little green card you get back when you send something to the VA certified, return receipt requested. You really have to do that just to ensure, to guarantee that they get it and that you get proof that they received it.
Exactly. And speaking of proof on receiving that, that ties right into my next topic. And my next topic is, when will the VA expedite a claim?
Oh, gosh.
God, is there a lot of misunderstanding and misinformation about that out in the place?
Well, and we talk about, the rumor mill. I mean, my goodness, it's probably strongest in the veteran community, because you start one little rumor and boom, it can make it across the planet before the truth gets out of the door.
And it's not anywhere close to what it started off being.
Right, but people take it to heart and say, oh, geez.
I know, that's why we recommend you get professional help. And by professional, we don't mean they charge anything. It's free. If somebody wants to charge you to help file a VA claim, that's illegal.
You don't want it. That's when you get up from the desk and you say, see you later. Now, in certain circumstances, after you have been denied and you want to file an appeal, then they actually can make arrangements, a fee agreement with the VA where they'll get some of your back pay and what have you. And that's up to you whether you do that. But with all the accredited, bona fide representatives around that do this because they love their fellow brothers and sisters in arms, you really don't even have to do that.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. But what's happened here on how will VA recognize a reason to expedite your claim or anybody's claim? There was a recent meeting in the St. Petersburg regional office, and you need to listen to this. If you file by mail to Noonan, Georgia is a new place the VA contracts with to
Yes.
take the claim and enter it in the computer, and eventually it gets started action at the regional office. Well, what are the facts behind that? Here's the facts. It takes about 6 or 7 days once they get the documents in Noonan, Georgia, for it to get loaded in the computer. Then that packet is sent to the appropriate regional office, and right now there's 12,000 packets already in that portal. So backlog, and then when it gets to the regional office, it takes them 3 to 4 weeks, a month. It takes them a month to put it in the computer and establish a process whereby it's in the computer and they're tracked on how long it's taken them to do the claim. So the first month and a half or so is
Just going
gratis,
through.
and the VA is not being charged taking that long to do your claim.
So they need every listener out there that's dealing with the VA should adjust their expectations, is what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. Particularly veterans who've just got out of the military, are used to things being done on time.
Yeah.
and they tell me, and I tell them how long it's going to take to even get started, and they go, what?
That's that hurry up and wait.
Yeah, exactly.
We're all familiar. If you've been in the military, you know what that is. Well, that's what the VA principle is.
Okay, so what fact circumstances will cause the VA to honor and expedite the claim? And I don't know what expedite means. It just means it should be faster than normal.
Well, yeah, they're going to take it. Maybe it's in the line of claims to be worked, and if there's under certain circumstances, you're able to convince them that you need it now, then they really will pull it and bring it to the front of the pile.
Yeah, and I think they have like some special rating teams that
They do
that in the regional office.
Fast teams and whatever, sure.
Yeah. And okay, so what claims are expedited? The Appeals Express Pilot Program, and I'll talk about that in a minute. For homeless veterans, for terminally ill veterans,
Duh.
for financial hardship, and it
Of course.
should attach the details, and there's another form that can be used to
Always another
give
form.
that to the VA. Ex-POWs, Medal of Honor winners, claimant is over 85. Boy, is there a lot of rumor about, if you're over 60, if you're over 70, if you're over 72, over 85 is what it takes to expedite the claim.
So if I'm 85 in 6 months, I can be expedited.
No.
Well, over 85.
Well, you're not 85.
I'm 85 and a half. I said I'm 85 and 6 months. You didn't hear that part.
Oh, no, I
If
thought
you're
you said
85
in 6 months.
You're 85 or older, boom, you qualify for an expedite.
Yeah, we foot stomped that one. And then convalescence, and convalescence
Explain.
is standalone only. In other words, the only claim being filed is you have a service-connected disability, it got operated on, or medically treated in some way that causes you to have 30 or more days convalescence leave signed by a doctor. They prescribe that amount of convalescence for 30 days or longer.
Right, and you're going to be paid at the 100% rate. And if you're already at 100%, then there's different adjustments they make. But that is a very common expedite right there.
Yes.
Now, whether it gets expedited, we can talk about in different terms.
Yeah.
But the idea is you're not able to work. All right? That's based on you having the surgery or whatever treatment it was.
Yeah.
And you're not able to work. So, you have to have that money.
Exactly.
And
That's
quickly.
the whole purpose of the program, is
Exactly.
to give you money to replace the money you can't get by working.
For sure. So that's a good reason to expedite. Any others?
Well, that's pretty much it for compensation, which is service-connected disabilities. But let me clarify on the convalescence one. I said standalone only means if you got some other claim pending, you file some other claim with the convalescence claim, then it just goes by date order like any other claim does. It's not going to be expedited.
It isn't, but in my experience, and probably yours too, Glenn, when they do advance the file to the front of the heap, they often will work, if it's a single issue or something, just to clear the whole thing. It does happen, but not necessarily. They're not lawfully obligated to do that.
Exactly. So, I mean,
Depends on the conscientiousness.
us professionals know what to do. File 2 claims.
Yep, exactly. Exactly.
Okay, and then there's pension claims, which is payment of amount of money for low-income wartime era veterans, and that is even more restricted on what will be expedited. The only thing they'll expedite is you're homeless or you're over 85.
Okay, which
None
falls
of those
into-
other reasons I gave you will cause the Pension Management Center to expedite your claim.
Because we're talking non-service connected disabilities.
Exactly. And so what Florida Department of Veterans Affairs, which also represents American Legion, recommends strongly, if you're going to file an expedited claim because you fit one of these fact patterns, that you send the claim directly to them and let them take it down the hallway to the VA, get it entered in the computer, and then hand carry it over to the rating people and get it started working.
And I want to expand on that a bit because you just mentioned that's your power of attorney.
Correct.
Explain that whole process.
Well, it's called a power of attorney, and really specifically, it's a specific power of attorney for help with a VA claim only by a veteran service organization.
That's accredited.
That's accredited. American Legion, Disabled American Veterans, VFW, Veterans of Foreign Wars,
PVA.
and Florida Department of Veterans Affairs, Purple Heart. There's
Paralyzed
many.
veterans.
There's many of them.
There are.
We kind of covered the big ones there.
Right. But the idea is when you have that power of attorney, that entity, those VSOs, Veteran Service Officers, are there to literally hand carry and advance your claim where it needs to be and do it legally and lawfully.
Yeah, and they can also work a lot of issues for you behind the scenes that you may never know happened, but they're there where they can go face to face with the rating people if they need to, and so forth. And they also represent you at a personal hearing, and none of this costs anything.
All free.
All free.
Free.
And you gotta do it. Don't ever go alone to file a claim.
Yeah, you really can't because you're going to get steamrolled. But those are excellent examples of why the VA will choose to expedite your claim.
Exactly. And those are the only reasons they'll expedite your claim.
And if you have a question about it, you know that you can go to AVET Project's social media pages because we upload these episodes. We're on the air live and we're on the internet live while we're doing this. And you can also go to YouTube and find these segments. They're all recorded. If you want to share them with a friend or if you know somebody that may need this information, please go ahead and share it. That's what it's for.
Okay, and then amongst those, I mentioned an Appeals Express. That's a new pilot program. The VA has more pilot programs than they have airplanes, I think. But
Yeah, the pilot program is simply something they're testing in a particular region to see if it's going to apply to everybody.
yeah, and see if it'll help expedite the claims. Appeals are way behind. They're pushing a year and a half to 2 years to get them out of the regional office. And there's a reason for that, but we'll do that on another day.
Another show.
But here's the criteria. It must have been submitted.
What's the name of the program again?
Appeals Express.
Appeals Express.
The claim must have been denied, or you wouldn't be appealing, obviously.
Right.
And then submitted on a VA form 210958. What that is a form for notice of disagreement. A notice of disagreement is submitted on the appropriate form. and you have to elect the traditional appeal process. And
Because there is a choice.
yeah, there's a choice. You can also select on that form a decision review officer. If you select on the division review officer that does not qualify for the Appeals Express program, you can't ask for a DRO, the decision review officer, to review the claim.
Can I just interrupt real quick? And
Sure.
when you have a DRO, a DRO, decision review officer, what they do is take your file. It's a de novo review. They'll look with a fresh pair of eyes over everything and then come up with their own decision and write it and formalize it with a rating decision.
Yeah, which can be completely different than the one that was denied. So
It can. But if you elect that, this program Glenn's describing does not apply to you.
that's right. And another criteria, and all of these criteria have to fit. It's not either or. There must be 5 issues or less in the claim. 5 issues or less. So if you submitted 30 issues in the claim and they deny 10 of them and approve 20 of them, you don't qualify for this Appeals Express. You can still appeal the 10 they denied, but you don't qualify to get it expedited.
Gotcha.
And no additional development is required. You don't need to send them any other evidence. They're not going to come back and say, what about this? You indicated you saw this doctor, but you didn't send us any information about treatment records and so forth.
In other words, they have everything they need within the claim file to rate the case, to do the appeal.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And you have no other pending appeal. I ran across 2 guys last week I was helping with to do appeals, and they already had appeals going, and they didn't know they had appeals going. That those appeals were so old, they had forgotten they even submitted them.
Okay.
And then there's an acknowledgement form, if you will, in this pilot program that has to be signed by the veteran saying they meet this criteria and they understand that it's going to go in the Appeals Express program.
And
Basically what they're telling them is, I don't have any other evidence to submit to you.
and you're acknowledging that you're in the program and you're going to accept whatever decision they come up with. Well,
No.
you can
No,
can
it doesn't
appeal
say
it,
you.
but you're letting them take your case with 5 issues or less and go through the appellate program, which
Yes,
is
sir.
which is through the Board of Veterans Appeals.
Exactly. And bear in mind, this is a pilot program, so I'm unable to tell you what the Appeals Express means in terms of time, how much faster it will go. But I'll guarantee you it has to go faster, because I know those backlog of appeals there have people with 25, 30 issues going on. And in my experience, I think that the raters take those and work 2 or 3 issues today and then put it back on the shelf and go to something that has less issues, because their performance ratings are based in part on how many claims they get out every day.
End product. They get a
End
little
product,
tick
yep.
mark for it.
Yep.
But the idea behind all this, I mean, again, we're trying something different to try and speed up the process. But if you look at it rationally, Glenn, it's still the regular appeals process where you elect to have your claim scooted off to the Board of Veterans Appeals in D.C. to be rated. Because let's say you had 6 issues. It's going to go there anyway. So this is something that they're adding to it, and it's going to help?
I don't know. That's why I said I can't tell you what this will do.
Do they
in
make
terms
any
of
promises
timeliness.
as you look through
Oh
all the
no, there are no
paperwork?
promises. It's
Okay.
a pilot program.
Yeah, so we'll see how that works and we'll report back to you later.
Okay, and then we've got time for a couple others here. I want to remind you that there's a new updated ship list for those of you who are Vietnam veterans.
Are you listening?
And you can go to va.gov online and go to that ships list and see if a ship you served on qualifies for presumptive Agent Orange exposure, which would then entitle you to up to 15 different types of disabilities that are caused by exposure to Agent Orange, which the real exposure is to herbicides. It's called Agent Orange because it came in a barrel with an orange stripe on it.
Right, this nasty cancer-causing stuff that was dropped out of the air, turned into an aerosol, and everybody got to enjoy it.
Yeah, but they've added ships, so you might have been denied previously, and you qualify now. So you need to go look, especially if you were denied before.
No kidding, and that means that it's a big list already.
Oh yeah.
Go and see if they've added your ship if you weren't previously recognized for that.
And it also lets you know they're continuing to look and add ships to it. So if you've been denied, going there and looking again periodically is a great idea.
So if you're a Vietnam vet, had boots on the ground, or was on one of the ships on the list, and you developed any type of heart disease outside of valvular or hypertension, you're going to be covered under the new ischemic heart. Prostate cancer, diabetes, there's a lot of common things that led to exposure, and they've presumptively service-connected them, so that's really important. We only have another minute left, Glenn.
Okay, well, all of these will take longer than that minute, but it's great to remind you that you get the right information right here, right now. You don't get it from rumors on the street.
Exactly. I want to share something. At the end of every episode of American Warrior Radio, Glenn always shares the Veterans Crisis Line number, which, by the way, is 800-273-8255, Veterans Press 1. Got a speed memo from the U.S. Department of Defense, and they have said 120 troops from the U.S. military have committed suicide during the second quarter of 2015. That's 120 active duty troops committing suicide in 2015. We've got to reverse that trend. It's just insane. We've got to get exposure to it, and you've got to tell anybody that that's suffering in those or in that deep, dark place to reach out.
Absolutely. And, the VA offers mental health services, and one of those services, again, write this down, is you never know when you might need to use it, 1-800-273-8255, press 1 for veterans.
And I also want to share during the second segment, which is coming right up here on American Warrior Radio, it's Heal the Warrior, Heal the Country with Dr. Scott Fairchild. I introduce a sponsor that's been with us and helping AVET Project for a couple years now, Jenny O Turkeys. Just happy Thanksgiving. Everybody enjoyed their awesome birds. And we're going to see you here in a minute, because you're not going anywhere other than maybe refresh your drink and sharpen your pencil. American Warrior Radio is going to be right back on AM 1060 WMEL.